Good evening for the second time tonight. This is Talking the Tightrope. My guests for the West Coast show this evening, Mr. Stephen Lekowicz, Robb Padgett, and Tanya Ihnen, the three of which comprise KATR Pictures. Thank you guys for coming with us tonight.
You're welcome.
Thanks for having us.
And Tanya's not a mister, by the way.
Tanya is not a mister, that's true. She's a sister, not a mister.
I'm not a Mrs. either, so it's all right.
We don't really.
She's a Ms. with 5 Z's. It's all good.
Yes.
Our three guests tonight are a part of Apotheosis, like we've been doing for all these beginning Talking the Tightropes. Right now, our pledges sit at $1,200 of $25,000, which is the goal. We have a little more than 8 days left, technically, right now, in order to reach it. The odds are long, but it's not impossible. And right now, we just want to try to get the scoreboard up as high as possible. We're trying to see how much support we're going to have. So if this campaign doesn't make it through, we'll be able to figure out plans in order to try to bring it to life in other avenues. And speaking of bringing it to life, going back to our guests, they are playing something, if you know the three of them, probably something you have not seen them do. And it's a 3-person spy unit known as the Sanzaru. And what the Sanzaru are is the official Japanese word for what you probably recognize as the 3 wise monkeys. See no evil, hear no evil, and do no evil. In some cases, there actually is a 4th monkey, because the originals that we know of in the Western world, always strange to me because we're closer to Asia from the East than the West. But okay, it's a Europe thing. As usual, Europe ruining the fun for us. But mostly you know about see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. And the 4th monkey is actually do no evil. But the Sanzaru bring us the 3 wise monkeys, and it is a spy outfit responsible for discovering exactly what is going on with the 2nd iteration of the project. So, guys, again, thank you for coming out with us tonight. How's everything going for you?
Good.
Good.
Yeah. The Western world would collapse if we acknowledged the do no evil monkey. So.
Can I bring something up about the do no evil, see no evil, speak no evil monkeys?
Sure.
Okay. Two of those monkeys.
Mind you, they're not going to be dressed as those monkeys. I'm sorry to disappoint you. They're not in chimp suits during the show. I fought them on this. They wanted the chimp suits. I just was not going to do it this time around. We have to wait for the right moment.
And I had my prehensile tail removed when I was very young. So.
Damn it.
But
yes, exactly. And Steve clearly was not looking ahead. He was not planning ahead at all when he got those surgeries or whatever. So thanks a lot, Steve.
So the 3 monkeys, see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil, or do no evil. 2 of those monkeys are just shutting the evil out. One of them is stopping themselves from committing evil.
Well,
so
it's
they're on the same
the way that it's kind of weird because the way that we talk about it, like the way that we Englishize basically the phrasing for the Sanzaru, it's more about not witnessing, hearing, or speaking of evil acts without doing something to stop them. Is the original idea behind the Sanzaru. But we just know them as the hilarious monkeys that cover their eyes, their mouth, and their ears. So it's kind of weird.
You know about that thing that all hack comedy people put in their show at one point when
something happens and okay, ready? 3, 2, 1. Wait,
Steven and both close.
Failure. All right, well, that ends this Talking the Tightrope, folks. I'm sorry, I just can't do it. I
never find the monkeys all that funny, so I don't know why.
They're not supposed to be funny.
And this is a drama, so luckily.
Luckily we don't have to worry about them.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. What we have is, for those of you who don't know, Apotheosis is, at this point, I guess I'm calling it a super drama. It's a little spy thriller. It's a little comic book. It is the story of 2 failed attempts by the U.S. government to try to create superhuman beings. They tried it once in 1966, and it failed miserably. They would try it again in 2000 with advancements in science and technology. And that project collapsed in some ways worse than the first one for completely different reasons. And our 3 actors with us tonight are part of the 3-person unit that is trying to figure out the truth on behalf of the man that brought them together, which is Mr. Peter Morrison, who is played by Yuri Lowenthal, who we interviewed earlier in the series. So let's get to know a little bit about KATR Pictures. We have 3 completely different backgrounds, people that came from completely different states, How does KATR Pictures come together in the first place?
I was the gaseous state. She was the liquid state.
And Robb is plasma as usual, yes.
Solid state.
You're the solid state.
Solid
He's
state.
the solid state
Who's
drive.
Drive-by.
My molecules are stable.
I'm sorry. I'm going to totally derail every question. Anyway.
Steve said too much caffeine. We should just preface this whole...
I had one Starbucks refresher.
And for him, that's
way too much caffeine for Steve.
Yeah, what is that, like 14,000% of your daily requirement for caffeine or something?
I don't know. I don't know what happened.
I used to drink a lot of Cokes, so I don't think really, you know.
I used to drink a lot of Cokes.
Yeah, you drink a lot of Coke. You might have been doing it wrong, Steve. I'm not going to lie. I've seen those Glenn Fry videos. I think you're doing it wrong.
Okay, so I guess I'll really answer your question. Steve and I met doing community theater in LA, and Robb and I and a few other people had produced a short film, and we decided we wanted to keep going with producing.
We've been a couple since college.
Oh,
so
yeah.
we kind of knew each other before we did that.
Yeah,
short film
yeah,
together.
this guy. I know him. God, he gets mad every time I forget to say that. And so we were producing already, and we wanted to do. Both of us had always wanted to be in a sitcom, so we decided that what the hell, we'll make a sitcom, and we asked Steve to be a part of it as an actor, and then he came in to be a producer, I think, halfway through that show. So there you are.
The producer dropped out. And
Very cool. And this today actually marks year number 20 for Steve, doesn't it? Year number 20 in LA.
Yeah, everyone, this is my 20th year today that I moved to Los Angeles.
Yay.
Nice. Congratulations.
And I have nothing to add to that.
Yay.
It's all been...
You can just tell by like the anger and like the grit in his jaw that he's just like, this is the 20th year I've been here.
The traffic getting down here tonight was representative of my entire 2 decades in the city.
Yeah, nice. That's depressing. That's heartbreaking and depressing. Thanks for sharing that 20 years, Steve.
Now I've known these guys for...
Oh, my God.
Life from the Inside was seven?
Life from the Inside was
8 years ago. So I've known them for, more than
Almost
half
10,
the time.
yeah, 10 years.
About half the time I've been here.
That's crazy.
So that's interesting to realize.
And it's funny, too, that because time passes differently in Los Angeles than it does other places.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of moves faster here because every day's pretty much the same.
There's no season.
Yeah, it's like you pretty much get caught up in doing the same thing all the time, which sounds like a rut, but it's not. It's a little more freeing than that. You don't have to worry about the weather stopping you from doing anything, so you can do whatever you want every day. And just one day kind of blends into the next.
Huh.
It's only when they start selling Christmas stuff at Costco that you can tell.
Oh my God.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, let me set this up. Robb is a Christmas addict. He is all about that there Christmas. And if Christmas was a white rock you could smoke in a glass pipe, Robb would be all up about that Christmas right now.
It'd be Steve and I would be holding interventions like yearly.
I was listening to Christmas music before they got here, and I turned it off.
We were talking earlier about how it seems like pumpkin spice latte season seems to get here early every year. It's kind of like Christmas. And
yeah, exactly. I was about to ask whether Robb's parents are secretly saying yes.
But Christmas getting here, in August is a little much.
I don't care. I want it.
He doesn't care.
I don't understand. It's like 95 degrees here today. I don't know why
I want it to be Christmas.
you should be excited about
What people also don't realize is Los Angeles fall is the hottest time of the year.
Mm.
So it's always teasing you. You see TV shows with the leaves changing again, falling. It's 100 degrees outside.
Yeah.
Yep, and they ship in the leaves from my state where there actually is leaves changing color. It's all good.
They change here, just not until January.
And they turn brown.
Yeah, they just go from healthy to dead. There's no slow
brown, and they all fall off, and it's done.
They're brown now.
You have
that's
to
because of the drought.
You have to find the 2 streets in all of Los Angeles that have actual
Foliage.
fall, that have foliage.
Foliage.
The leaves turned to foil and fell to the ground.
Foliage. That's actually a Simpsons reference. Ha ha ha.
It's always it. It's always a Simpsons reference.
It's always, yeah. Yeah, there's approximately like 472 years of Simpsons, so there's a reference somewhere.
It's our little walking library. That's from the same line. Ha ha ha.
Anyway, what were we saying?
Anyway, we met this guy a while ago, and he won't leave us alone. So we.
Yeah, it actually, I like how you gave me a free segue. I didn't have to force the segue, so that's always good. Let's go to Life from the Inside. That was right around the time of the Guild, or a little bit after.
We started shooting it before the Guild, and when we put it online, the Guild had just.
I think just started.
Suddenly, a bunch of web series all came on the scene like at the same time. Like everybody had the same thought at once. Why don't we do something for the web?
It was very.
And we all got it ready. And we all put it online, and it was weird because the first couple of videos that we did, obviously nobody watched them. And then the Guild put theirs up, and I found it because it was another web series. And I was like, oh hey, good luck with your web series. Make a web series too. And that lasted about 3 episodes, and then all of a sudden they just exploded. And I was like, what the heck's going on here? How come we can't do this? But they, so about the same time as the Guild.
Well, we don't know Joss Whedon.
We do not.
We don't know Joss Whedon.
That might have given us a tiny boost.
None of us were on television.
Maybe Joss Whedon will find our show someday and tweet about how much he likes it.
So when it comes to that, it's because I was talking with Maxwell and earlier tonight, and Maxwell has been on Lonely Girl 15. He popped up in the Gold sort of spin-off Night of the Zombie King, and then he went to the Lizzie Bennett Diaries, and then he's getting ready to do Muzzled. So he's been kind of along like the spectrum of WebTV. You guys have been on a similar path. Life from the Inside, Vampire, Zombie, Werewolf. You were doing Celebrating the Web several times. So we saw different iterations of your projects. From your guys' point of view, how has it been watching the evolution of web television from your guys' point of view?
I don't know that's so sure the web television has evolved.
Okay, no, that's a fair point. Okay, clarify that. That's a completely fair point.
I think that the Guild, production values raised, but if you want to go from the Guild, let's talk about Lizzie Bennett Diaries. From the Guild to Lizzie Bennett Diaries, the writing has gotten more sophisticated. The stories have gotten larger, but there's not a huge difference between the Guild and Lonely Girl and Lizzie Bennett Diaries. And Lizzie Bennett Diaries, I'm only saying Lizzie Bennett Diaries because it's genuinely popular. Because a lot of people watch it. And a lot of people watched all those other shit in the Guild and Lonely Girl too. Lonely Girl was before us, by far, a couple years, but they are about the same. They're all pretty much the same. The only thing that's changed is that some of us make TV shows for the web. Like, that's what's changed, is that people are making independent television now. It wasn't seen as independent television before. It was seen as, like, web videos. But now it's seen as independent television, although nobody watches it. Independent television.
Do you guys think that's a case of there's too much product and too few viewers, like the sea is it's too wide at this point? Do you think it's that the shows there aren't enough quality shows at this level that can attract that kind of attention?
I think it's mostly that people are now used to watching regular television on the web, and they're still not quite used to going out and finding independent television. I think it will be a generational shift. I think the people who are used to finding everything online will then just know, well, there's this other stuff out there I can watch. It doesn't have to be something produced by ABC or Fox or whatever.
And there is so much stuff out there that how do you stumble on? Like, how would anyone stumble on one of the shows we've done? How would you? It's not like there's a marketing thing that we could do to throw out there and get the general population.
And nobody ever stumbled upon it when we were on Stumbled Upon.
Somebody stumbled upon.
We're doing that, so there you go.
Somebody stumbled upon VZW and really enjoyed it. I remember.
Yeah, to be fair, even Stumbled Upon did not stumble upon itself. So.
Nobody stumbled upon.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not enough people Pinterested Stumble Upon. I think. Remember to go back.
It's not Pinterest.
Pinterested.
It's Pinterest.
It doesn't matter.
Whatever.
But I think that I was going to say something. What was I going to say? Oh, I think it's also you have to cultivate the attitude of people, because like Tanya said, people are used to watching television on the internet, and believe it or not, in this business we get kind of we're a little too savvy, and so we think that people can tell the difference between a low-budget television show and a high-budget television show, and that one is made by a few people and one is made by a large amount of people. One has a lot of money and one doesn't. But people stumble across low-budget stuff all the time that doesn't have very good production values, and you see the comments online. What is this crap? This looks like cheap crap. So there's a little bit of a barrier for a lot of people who are like, why is somebody making this cheap show as if we have an option to make a more expensive show and we're just not exercising that option. And so I think people need to appreciate it like they appreciate independent films. People go to independent films expecting a certain milieu, with the kind of cheapness is part of the experience. And I think that could be the same thing with web series, and people can look past production values and see the characters and see the writing and all that stuff.
And it'd be nice to get past the whole, everything has to be short on the web. When we started Life from the Inside, each episode was like a 30-minute sitcom episode. We had to split it up because back then on YouTube you couldn't post past a certain amount. But and even back then it's like, why are you posting a half-hour show? No one's going to watch that. And if people are watching actual TV on the web, Hulu's kind of the web, right? It's like if they shift that to the independent film thinking where, there's an actual independent sitcom on the web that's 24 minutes long.
Except that now the same people who told us, your show is too long, are going, your show's too short. It should be, people are used to watch. So it's BS.
People will tell you all sorts of stuff.
Now I know the trend is like, we want something that's more traditional, that we can put ads into this time block and this time block, et cetera, et cetera.
Usually the advice they're giving you, if it's, your show is great, just think about doing this, this, and this, and if you did these 3 things, it would be more appealing to us as investors or whatever. Usually what they really are saying is, I don't like your show, and this is what I'm going to tell you so that I don't have to tell you I don't like your show. It's usually an excuse. If the show's great, people will watch it whether it's 2 minutes long or 20 minutes long. It doesn't matter.
We still have Life from the Inside fans that are still mad at us for not producing more episodes.
Making Vampire Zombie Werewolf.
They're still mad at us for switching to a different show entirely. So, when you do...
I remember when you guys were releasing VZW, and you actually a couple times had to do posts of just like, I call them the Garth Brooks, Chris Gaines posts. When Garth Brooks did that album, all of his country fans thought that he hath abandoned them forever and that he had forsaken, because he just wanted to try something different. And, hey, I just want to make a character album and all that. And he literally had to be like, I know that the fans of my normal country music, this might not be their thing, but I have not abandoned you. I have not forsaken you. I'm just trying something different with this album. I remember you guys having to do a couple similar comments to... I know this isn't the LFTI cup of tea, but it's still us guys. We didn't change. We're not held captive and forced to make the show.
Oh, they were so mad that Steve and I were playing a couple. I remember that was really funny to me.
They freaked out about that.
Yeah,
they would leave bad ratings on our videos.
Yeah, they got
negative comments. I mean, they tried to sabotage.
They got very angry at us.
And I think that's part of. I mean, at least that's the good thing about web is it carries over. Fandom is always that way. It doesn't matter. You know, I read something today about who's the Harry Potter lady whose name I just forgot?
J.K. Rowling.
J.K. Rowling. Anyway, so she got an angry fan thing about Dumbledore being gay, and she fired back. It's like, well, then why don't you not? Then don't read it. That's great. Fine.
Yeah.
So you're always going to get, and especially that if you switch genres or try something new, like Pat Boone wearing leather. All the religious people come out and go, that Pat Boone. Why is he doing the devil's work? And it's just the same thing where it's like, well, maybe he wants to break out of that, try something new.
Well, and I count us lucky that we had fans that were so...
Although, where were they when we were making the show?
They were there.
They're telling all their friends to watch. They were holding it for themselves.
You should go tell them that.
Our fans were a little bit selfish. They kind of kept the show to themselves.
We're not going to tell anybody about it.
Yeah.
It was their secret gem, Rob. They did not want to share their secret gems with anyone else.
I know.
I've always been a big fan of even was it VZW? I'm like I don't want comments. I don't want comments on the show. And it's that a lot of that's happening now where people are saying, no, comments just don't do any good. They're not a good interaction with your audience. There's other ways to interact with your audience. But you know, certainly back then, it's like, well, that's kind of the only way to interact with our audience. But you know, the comments can be so brutal. The ratings and the comments and stuff. Like,
well, that's why we hid
Yeah.
the views. We hid VZW, and now Google won't let us unhide them. But we hid our views on VZW because we didn't want people judging the show based on however many people watched it. I mean, that's a stupid way to judge a show.
No.
Yeah.
And the same thing with, like Steve saying, with the comments. Somebody gets on there, some troll comes on and says something nasty, and then all the other people are like, well, this person didn't like it. I'm okay. It's okay for me to not like it, and I'll say something nasty. And then it'll get kind of snowballs. And the good comments also spur more good comments, but the nasty ones seem to do the most damage.
Yeah.
They seem to be the most...
That's a great point, because recently PewDiePie killed the commenting. He's the #1 subscribed member channel on YouTube, period.
Right.
And even he reached the point where he said, he literally said, these comments are just shit, they don't do anything, and I'm done with them. And he had killed them once before, and then he brought them back, hoping, you know, bless his heart, he's like, I thought maybe it'd get better, but when it didn't, he had the courage to say, no, I don't want your comments, because it's almost like a contest to see who can write the biggest insult.
Right, and
For
then
sure.
it'll vote it up, and so it'll be the first comment you see. And with PewDiePie, with things like PewDiePie, their comments are basically it's just a chat room. I mean, it's not even about the video. Most people aren't even commenting on the video. If somebody says something inflammatory, and somebody else comes in and calls them a name, and then it's a big argument that's 150, Seymour 150 lines long.
Yeah.
And it's not even about the video. It's just a chat room. People don't care. But then do you lose audience interest? Are the videos enough? Like PewDiePie, are his videos so engrossing that people are going to come back just for his videos?
Yeah.
Or was chatting and yelling and bitching at each other part of the appeal?
I know that I think we would like to make stuff the comments aren't going to be the draw. And so, you know, whatever our next project's going to be, it might be that thing where, maybe we'll turn them off too. I don't know. I don't know if we, should close off any avenue that we would have to gain people. But, it's like a show like, I haven't seen that show really, but yeah. So,
it's just
show.
Yeah.
But
dude talking about
The channel, yeah.
nothing. If the draw is not what we're creating as creators, then is it,
Yeah, we'd like the work to speak for itself, but the community is also important. I wish there was a way. I wish we had the technology. We have the technology to create someplace for our fans to go where they don't have to put up with just your regular troll.
Yeah, and I think that's part of the key. I mean, social media now, there's so many other varied options to be able to communicate. PewDiePie, you can still get to him through Twitter and through his other social media accounts. It was only YouTube specifically he disabled the comments on. But I will say there are a lot more options to where you can put in those kind of filters to keep out just the crap. I mean, someone saying, here's why I don't like your show, and it's constructive criticism, yeah, but when people are in a rush to say first and promote their video and then call each other a bunch of racial and, anti-Semitic and homosexual epithets the whole time, and it's an insult race. I'm just really, in the past even 5 or 6 years, it's blown me away how many different avenues you can do to sort of communicate with your audience that you didn't have at all. It used to be comments or nothing, and then that did affect you. But I think there's a lot more hope because there's just better technology now.
And that's what I'm talking about with, like, even just the generational shift, because my niece and nephew know all the different ways to contact people because they're doing it. That's how they grew
40s.
up. They're not in their 40s. I'm in my 60s and they're in their 40s.
An older niece and nephew.
That's true.
That's true.
My computer still runs on steam power, so you young kids just hush up.
But yeah,
Gotta put more coal in this laptop. Hold on, kid.
My cat's running on the wheel. Hold on, I gotta feed it.
They know all the different ways to reach people, just in general, and studios are becoming more savvy about that kind of stuff.
But studios aren't blocking the comments.
No.
I mean, for a while on YouTube, if you disabled your comments, you were popular enough, you get people making videos about why you're such a Nazi, for how you're a fascist, for not letting them comment on your videos. And I don't know if that's changed.
It's really like, YouTube is so popular that it really is like anyone, if you're just walking down the street and you happen to wear something maybe you shouldn't have worn that day, and everyone is going to pass you and go, wow, that's a terrible shirt. Wow, are you, yeah, what a fag you are for wearing that shirt. And like, oh, God, you know, just, and so, like, everyone walking by you has something to say. If they happen to see you, they have something stupid to say, you know, whereas if you have to take the extra step of going somewhere else to say something, it's kind of like writing a letter to the networks might have been, where you really need to think about it for a sec, and you need to compose.
It takes effort to write a letter to the, you know, but on YouTube, comments has gotten so easy because that's what Google wants. They want the interaction. They don't care what you're, they don't care what you're talking about.
Yeah.
They just want you talking about something. So they make it so easy that how could you not tell somebody how gay they were?
And then all their ads for whoever comments.
It's always strange because I'm just like, why do they keep accusing people of being happy?
Rainbow flags on sale this week.
That's the number one thing I do with my YouTube comments. I just like to tell people how gay they are.
We mean it as compliments.
Oh, I do, totally, yeah.
You're so gay. That's fabulous.
That's amazing.
Thanks.
That's very gay.
I had someone ask me at a party if I'd, have you ever had a gay best friend? I was like, I've never not had a gay best friend, thanks.
I am so hip, I've never not had a gay best friend.
He wanted to be my gay best friend. It was very sweet. But I was like, I've had a gay best friend since college.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry, sweetie. I'm looking at my quota card right now, and it's filled. There's nothing, you know.
My best friend dance
My gay
card.
best friend dance card is very full, sir.
Actually, my gay best friend app is telling me I have no space right now for you, so I just can't.
That's a brilliant
I'm looking. No, Asian, no, black, no. I'm sorry, every slot's filled.
Oh, wait, an opening just came up. Hold on.
Exactly, first come, first serve.
Yeah. Who's closest right now?
Exactly, yup.
Bagels and smoothies.
If you were white and straight, I have 50 slots for that.
Wait, bagels.
Exactly, yup.
Gay men do not eat bagels.
They only, no, I know, they don't eat bagels,
carbs.
only cold-pressed fresh juices. And I'm sorry, the Lululemon ladies in their yoga pants, they're gay. I mean, they do the same things gay guys do. It's like, oh, we always sleep with men, and they sleep with men.
Exactly. I was going to say, yeah, in the very most technical sense of the word, most women are gay. It is true.
It's true. Most women are like gay men
Most women
in
are
some
like
respects.
men, right.
Yeah.
Gay men are like gay men in some respects, too.
Okay, I'm waiting to hear this one.
They're both men.
In some respects. See, get it? They're both men.
In a very large, well, depending, in a very large respect.
It's pretty specific. If you're not a man, you're a woman.
Oh, God, this
then
is
you're
the
like,
most
hey, I'm a
random.
man. I'm like practically gay.
So everybody's gay, a little bit gay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Men are
Everyone.
men.
I hope this is exactly how you thought this interview would go.
This is more than I ever dreamed. This is far better. I tried to think of the wackiest scenario, but this is beating it. I'm loving it.
We could just keep going.
Hey, remember, Google Hangouts lets you go up to 8 hours consecutively. So, I mean, I'm in this for the long haul if you are.
Part 29.
Yeah.
How gay are you?
How gay are you?
Exactly. And now this is the gayest part of our program where So let's talk a little bit about your guys' roles in Apotheosis itself, if we can, for a bit. Going through with our three-person team, going from left to right, Mr. Stephen Lekowicz plays Bill Henning. He's the member of the team that is what they euphemistically call the wet work specialist. He's basically the killer of the group. When there's someone that has to be dispatched, it is Bill Henning that generally is the man that wields the firearm that causes the end of someone else's life. Mr. Robb Padgett plays, I didn't have space for it in the lower third, but he plays Dr. Vincent Jackson. He is actually the psychological operations specialist in the group. He's the guy that isn't so much concerned with how to execute their plans when they're infiltrating buildings, but he's the guy that figures out who's going to give up the information, who's going to have the slip of the tongue, who's the weak link. He's always trying to outthink the competition. And then we have Ms. Tanya Ihnen, who plays Nina Klein. She is actually the leader of the group. She is the George Papard. I guess she's the Georgina Papard of this particular three-person A-team. She will actually wear a shoulder holster and smoke a cigar the whole time. with a silver wig and an M60 machine gun, just like George Papard did.
I'm
He had a
totally.
silver wig?
Yes, and it's going to look like George Papard's hair, so it's going to look really, really bad.
I'm totally down for that.
You got it. That's it. That's a new promise now.
We-
But she's the leader of the group. She's the one who actually sets their plans up and executes them at all times. And one of the things that I really, we started crossing paths on the internet when we both had vampire theme shows. You guys were Vampire Zombie Werewolf. I was over here just starting out with Vampirism Bites. And that's when we started to talk, when we did little bits of cross-promoting and things like that. So when I saw them, when I was watching Vampire Zombie Werewolf, I told this to Max earlier tonight, but there's actually like a list I have, a literal list of actors from WebTV that I want to write for and work with. And when I saw the three of you guys in VZW, that's seriously what I thought. It was just, I didn't know the dynamics between you guys in real life, because at that time I was just getting to know you guys. So I didn't know, you guys were friends for this long. I didn't know that was already going on. I'm just like, gosh, these guys really work well together on screen. This is friggin' sweet. I'd like to write something for these guys. And so after I had done 4 years of VB, and I was trying to figure out the next kind of show that I wanted to do, I sort of looked at that list and I was like, well, let's try to write roles to where no one would expect seeing certain actors in certain places. And for Maxwell Glick, it was sort of a Tony Stark-esque scientist who was starting to regret the creations that he had. Less like, I'm going to make a cool suit and go fight bad guys, but more like J. Robert Oppenheimer, who helped create the nuclear bomb, and the kind of regret that he had in his soul when he saw how his creation was going to be used. He thought it was just going to be one time. We used 2 of them on Japan, and he immediately was like, this is not what I signed up for. What I was really excited about was casting the 3 of these guys in roles that I knew they would never get a chance to play right now, and no one would see coming. Not because they don't have the talent or the skill to pull it off, but just because, like many actors in this particular project, those opportunities weren't going to come their way. They weren't going to be presented. I mean, these guys started KATR Pictures to create stuff for themselves, to do what they wanted. I absolutely love that. And so I wanted to work with the 3 of these guys, and hell or high water, I will do that. I want to write for them. I want them to play around my characters. I want to give them something different to do. And that's what brought me around to the Sanzaru. So the question that I have for the 3 of you guys is, you were offered the roles, and we'll talk a little bit about how you've actually been involved with Apotheosis in its earlier form, but I officially reached the point where I offered you guys the roles. Why did you decide to say yes? What actually was it that made you say, yeah, you know what, I want to be a part of this. I want to play these characters. And keep in mind, like I've told everyone else, you already have the job, so you wouldn't kiss my butt anyway. Robb would ask me how gay he thought I was, and then Steve would make a Lee Greenwood joke, and then Tanya would try to calm them down. But I mean, seriously, tell us, guys, what was it? Why did you guys want to come aboard?
Yeah.
I feel like I've talked a lot. Go ahead.
Oh, please, me? I never talk, so I'll go first. Damn pyramid.
Oh.
Freaking poking me in the nose.
I told you it was sharp, Steve. I told you it was sharp when I plugged it in there. All right, you got to be careful.
Defense. Steve has
very,
some
very
large
sharp. Look at that sucker. Well, I think part of it was what you just said. It's when we first read, and the early drafts that we had sort of read as well, and did table reads for, like it actually threw us. I think we're like, wait, why is my character a killer? That doesn't make any sense. And Robb's like, wait, am I the sort of flippant, jokey one? Isn't that kind of what you should be doing? Or we're like, maybe he got this wrong.
We did double check the names. I remember that. We were like, no, are you really reading this part? This
I think
is
I'm
not
supposed
like
to be playing.
Usually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't confused, but
No, see, because now you ruined it, because I was picturing Tanya like, oh, and why do I have to play the woman in this group?
Typecasting. Steve gets to play straight.
Exactly. I don't get it. Why can't you let me be Dr. Vincent Jackson?
Quite the same. Yeah. So I think it was just kind of that. It was sort of, oh, well, that would be a lot of fun to try. 2, it's an interesting idea. Like, if the entire series gets made, I mean, I don't even know where it's going. So it's kind of, but not really. So it'd be like, well, what's, what other fun stuff are we going to get to do? And then, what was I going to say? I got distracted.
You got distracted by Tanya.
I thought she was gonna reach over and tickle me. I don't know. I'm totally paranoid of being tickled at all times.
I just would like to point out that we've actually gone to events where people didn't know that Rob and I were dating, and they thought Steve was my boyfriend because they knew I was dating one of the people I produced with.
Yeah.
So that's kind of, I don't know. I feel like that sums up our relationship somehow.
And just,
I guess it's better than them assuming that Tanya's a Mormon and you're both her husbands. I mean, that could be kind of,
reverse Mormonism.
Exactly.
Offshoot sect I don't think would exist.
Reverse Mormonism.
Well, you'd call it Warmonism.
Warmonism.
As the Scientologist. Scientologist. I'm a Scientologist. It's not quite a Scientologist. It's more intelligent, really. It's actually about science,
This one's actually about science.
We worship the atom, and we have petri dish parties, and we all have microscope apps on our phones.
We recite the periodic table of elements in our chants.
In a way.
Why don't you tell James why you wanted to be in his show?
I'm gonna jump on a little bit of what Steve said, and I think yes, everything he said. Like it's fun. We don't know where the show goes past what the script that we have seen, and also and I think Yuri Lowenthal also said this. So I'm gonna kind of take a little bit of what he said, and the idea of being in someone else's project is pretty exciting.
That's what I was just. That was my third thing.
That was your third thing. We're so used to producing for us now that it's. The novelty of walking onto someone else's set is pretty amazing, and not having to go, when's lunch? Is lunch going to show up on time? Do we have enough snacks?
I mean, I should be able to work on these characters where, when you're doing your own show, it's hard because of all that stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like then after you're done, okay, all right, the cheese is ready?
Yes.
Okay, great. All right, wait. I've totally lost.
Do I know my
What
lines?
am I doing? Huh?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, when you're on set and you're in a scene and you're thinking about when the catering is going to show up.
Or is that camera move right?
Yeah, right. You're
Did we
worrying
get all
about
this
did
stuff?
the camera
Yeah,
cross the
right.
line.
How are they doing in makeup? Are they almost done with makeup?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's terrible. You can't focus on the work. And I think it shows in VZW on my part. I was terrible in that show.
No.
No.
But I'll say what
Terrible's a little strong.
He is always always making fun of himself in VCW, but if you watch the last episode, there is literally a moment where you can see me fall asleep with my eyes open. So
Yeah.
Oh, the last moment in that show where we're it's the final bit of the show, the
And we're
big
just
dramatic
both like,
ending,
We
and
actually
it's
shot it last.
like 4 in the morning or something, and Tanya and I are both. I remember being like, I'm being so engaging. I'm being keep your eyes open, and then you watch it, and it's like, you could tell we're drifting.
Oh, it wasn't 4 in the morning. We were chasing the sun coming out.
That's true. It was.
It was like
The sun was
7 in the
coming up.
morning.
And we didn't have any
Yeah, the
cakes
one
on the
scene where I
grill.
actually had lines, and these guys were sleeping.
We couldn't react properly to his performance. It's terrible.
But no, I was. I like the script. I like that the characters are something we might cast ourselves in, but yes, nobody's going to offer it to us. But quite frankly, just because you asked. Nobody asks.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
A lot of people, since we produce our own stuff, kind of assume we're not free for their projects.
Or we
so
don't want to do it or something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
and
I
so
want
just-
to be in your web series.
Mhm. And the number of times I've told people, hey, if you ever need actors for your show, just let me know. But it's
You got a pretty good part in
So-
Hollywood Wasteland.
yeah, that'll come out sometime.
It's on the computer.
And
If
it's-
you want to see it.
Well,
Yeah.
Shh.
Oh, thanks.
It's secret.
I mean, no, Matt, I won't show anybody before.
Yes, we got an exclusive. Whoop whoop.
I'm like, Rob, P.S. Don't let Rob work on your show if you don't want everybody to
I'm
know.
going to show everybody. I'm uploading it tonight.
So what you're saying is have Rob on every show when he has no problem.
That was a fun role to do, but again, that was over a year ago, and
that was a long time.
That was a long time ago,
Yeah.
so I'd love to see it.
So the moral of the story is, I guess, just ask. We're sluts, so ask us to come to your show.
Are.
Yeah, actors are totally sluts. They do it for free usually, and so it's.
Oh yeah, the reference level of this show has just gone up.
That's why they're not whores.
So joining me tonight on Talking the Tightrope, 3 self-proclaimed sluts and acting.
See, we would be whores, but we do it for free.
Right, so we're sluts.
Hold on, I need to put my shame and dignity in a drawer so it doesn't get damaged anymore. Just let me take care of that real quick. All right.
Fernando,
you
slut hirer.
Yeah, that's right. You're the one that hired us.
Well, if you ask my friends, I always joke about being a pimp, so I guess my dream is coming true now. I'm becoming an acting pimp. It's great.
Well, hopefully we just don't give you our filmic VD.
That's right.
Yeah.
Or hopefully we do.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe. Well, I mean, you've already offered me your VZW, and I caught that. So.
Yeah.
Catch the fever.
Angles.
Oh my God.
So one of my the things that I like most about the process of bringing Apotheosis, when these guys came in for earlier table reads, is that when they first read the script in an earlier form, the 3 of these guys actually did something that to this day I really respect and appreciate, and it was absolutely awesome. I'm going to tell you what it is they tore it apart, and not in a negative way. I noticed that a lot. It's probably not everyone in this industry, but I do know that the parts that I'm able to see in the conversations I'm able to sort of witness on message boards and stuff like that is that there is this very nasty epidemic of avoiding the idea of constructive criticism. The very idea that there is a weakness, that there's a flaw in something, and that someone else is like, this doesn't really work, a lot of times turned into someone taking personal offense that you hated them and every fiber of their being because you didn't like a particular beat in this or stuff like that. And when the 3 of these guys read it, I really appreciated that they respected me enough to say, here's what didn't work for me. This didn't work for Rob, this didn't work for Steve. Tanya awesomely pointed out that I did not have enough corners in the cake for 4 people because I had a triangle cake, but it was just that little stuff, and to me, that criticism was part of the reason why I was so excited to work with these 3 guys in particular, because it's like, you guys got it. Like, you understood. You offered constructive criticism of what didn't work for you, and it helped me make the script better. So I wanted to take a moment to publicly thank you guys, because you helped make the script that you like now, in part, came about because you guys respected me enough to say, here's the stuff that, just doesn't work. This thing's kind of weird. This is kind of crappy. This particular beat isn't going anywhere. So, I mean, guys, thank you for making the script better. I wish there was more of that, because it makes everything better for everyone if we can just share that, and it's not flaming, and it's not your script's a piece of shit, and I know because I just wiped my ass with it kind of stuff. You didn't tell my script how gay you thought it was. It wasn't like a YouTube comment section.
It's very gay.
It's very
but it's just, I really appreciate to this day that you guys just said, here's what doesn't work for us. And at one point, in the very beginning of the process, Steve was blunt enough to say, in its current form, I would not play this character. And he just said because the script wasn't working for him. So, I mean, guys, seriously, thank you. But no, thank you for doing that. That helped me sit there and go, I want to work with these guys. Let's try to make something better. And there's always the chance that it may not have appealed to Steve at all, even when it was better. It may just not have been his thing. But I just really appreciate that you guys respect me enough to give me constructive criticism and say, this doesn't work. Look at it and see if there's a way maybe you can make it better, or maybe if you can see the problems that we're seeing with it. So thank you very much, guys.
Well, you're welcome.
Yeah, the worst thing you can hear when you hear a script, when you give somebody a script, is they give back, oh, good, it's good. Yeah, good.
I think
that's the worst thing you can hear, because that means they don't give crap.
Partially why we're so willing, especially when it's a friend script, to really give criticism, because we we quit giving our scripts out to people at a certain point because we would get no notes back.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, it's great. Or you know, or with Life from the Inside. Well, it's kind of long for the internet, right? And so.
Or it wouldn't be constructive.
Or it wouldn't be constructive. It would be, well, this is fine, but what if you did this and it would be an entirely different show?
Or have more outdoor scenes.
Yeah. Your character's agoraphobic. Your show should have more outdoor scenes. So I think being on the receiving end of non-constructive criticism makes it, I think, easier to say, you know,
well, and
hey, if you're willing to let me read this, then here's my actual thoughts and opinions. And I remember when Steve said he wasn't interested, because I was actually really impressed, because as an actor, I don't know that I could say no, and I was really I actually personally was really impressed with Steve being able to say, like, I'm not
and
really that
to
interested.
admit what, you know, because when we started the conversation after reading the script, it was like, I mean, first of all, we have to gauge whether you really want to hear it,
right.
And so we didn't launch right into anything, because it's still the sort of, you need to figure out what you really want to hear. Not meaning like we need to tell you what you want to hear, but do you really want to hear the constructive criticism?
Yeah,
and that's why so many people
not listen.
Yeah, not listen, not take suggestions, because most of the time, yes, people don't give the criticism either because it's Hollywood, and like I was saying today, everyone wants to be Hollywood nice,
right.
Because who knows if they'll have to work with someone again, or who knows if they'll piss someone off and, you know, be blocked out of a whole section of you know, an industry. And so just getting to the point of being able to talk about that even in that meeting was difficult, but there's something refreshing once you're able to give what you think is constructive criticism. You know, like, here's why this doesn't work. And it was hard to say that this wouldn't work for me, because you don't want to say that to anybody.
Well, and
you know, it's not something you want to tell people.
But the nice thing is that if we had I mean, the reason we had stuff to say was because there was something to say it about.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the script wasn't a complete teardown.
Yeah.
I mean, the characters were good, and the story was good. It was just, you know, it's just the same problems everybody has with the script. I mean, it's no different than anybody else.
Logistics and, you know, how are you getting the characters
and
across?
Structure and story,
structure.
all that stuff that if it were easy, everybody would be doing it. But they aren't. You know, and giving you advice is easier than giving it to ourselves.
Because we obviously get close to our stuff too.
Too close.
Yeah, so
I
sometimes
can't take a note for crap.
Yeah.
He's truly can't.
Hey, well, you know, for me, it still helped me out, and I, you know, when you had the first couple comments, I did notice there was like a really kind of hesitation of like, all right, here we go, guys, we're gonna tell them what we think. But I mean, you know, I was fortunate. Like, I learned to be interested in constructive criticism, constructive, mind you. That came from my mom, who I lost a couple years ago. And for me, when, you know, up until I was 12, everything I did was awesome. And my mom was more than excited to tell me how sweet everything was. Could do no wrong. I'm the best ideas in anything I did. I literally once wrote a poem in first grade that got me in trouble. That was, roses are reds, violets are blue. I want an A, so I'll suck up to you.
I think it's a good poem.
Yeah.
It was. And my mom was trying to, like, you know, dress me down for giving that, because I actually gave that as a school assignment to one of my teachers, because we had to write a poem, and so there it was, and I thought it was funny, and my mom was like, in between laughs, she's like, that's terrible, you can't write stuff like that in class. But, you know, most of the time she would tell me everything was great, and then I had, like, on, you know, handwritten on college ruled paper, I wrote this, like, X-Men idea when I was 13, this X-Men movie script, and I sent it to Paramount because I didn't understand how intellectual property worked ever at that age. And I actually had gotten, 6 weeks later, I got a response back from Louis Canfield, who's an editor of Paramount. And it wasn't a form letter or any of that stuff. And my mom, I think my mom was actually more shocked than I was that I didn't just get a form rejection of, like, you know, we don't accept unsolicited blah, blah, blah. And so after that point where the letter actually says, hey, you know what, if you want to actually make a go of this, you got potential, but you got to learn how to do it. I was 13. From that point on, my mom was actually more constructively critical of stuff I did, especially in, like, writing and writing plays and scripts like that. she started doing that for me. She's like, this doesn't work, because my mom was a huge reader. I don't like this. This doesn't work. I saw this coming from a mile away. And I really think that helped me sort of build that tolerance and that appetite to say, listen to others' ideas, listen to why they didn't like something, because if it works out at its best, it's going to help you do something better.
It's very true. I think that's one of the biggest downfalls of Hollywood. Robb and I went to college together, and in our school, when you you would rehearse a play. When the director was giving notes at the end of the night, you did not say anything back. You didn't argue. You took your note. You thought about it, and then if you wanted to talk to them about it, you talked to them about it on your own time. Blah blah blah. And I think that's one of the biggest problems with Hollywood is that most people don't know how to take notes. They get mad, they get defensive, they get, this is my idea, and what the fuck do you know? And so I think that's something that I wish more people had moms like yours who would teach them how to take constructive criticism. And it's also why I try to give a compliment, because there was someone who taught me that. To compliment first and then give your note, so that you don't just dive in with, here's what's wrong with your script. It's, hey, I liked this and this and this and that, and here's something that didn't really work for me. It just kind of leads to a gentler conversation. And
going back to internet comments, I mean that it's the whole. That's it. I mean, no one, you're not getting constructive criticism. You're not getting good comments. No one in the comment section can take criticism. They're giving it out, if it's criticism or not. So there's no, I don't know. There's just a whole atmosphere around all of it where there's no such thing as constructive criticism.
Well, we also feel we have the right to never be offended.
Yeah.
And that's not the case. We're going to be offended all the time. And it's not just a skill to give constructive criticism, it's a skill to take it. Like I said, I have a hard time taking notes. I'm trying to get better because I'm working with a lot more people now, doing a lot of stuff that's not us. And so I can't
Dun dun dun.
I can't really get as much attitude as I want to give to these people I'm working for, because they've hired me, and I can't fight them on everything. And generally, even if they don't necessarily, it's hard because sometimes they don't know as much as I do about what I'm doing. But even then, there's something about what they didn't like about it that I have to find, and you have to be able to find that thing, and you push yourself, and in the end, you always do make things, well, most of the time you make things better.
That's probably one of the best things you'll get out of this interview right there. I mean, that's interesting. No, that if you may not agree with them, there's something that they're not liking, and you have to find it.
You have to find out what it is that they don't like about it.
That's very good. I should.
They don't always know what they don't like about it.
Nugget of
Nugget of
awesome. Nugget of wisdom. There you go.
And scene.
End the interview now before it all goes horribly wrong.
Yeah, exactly. I'll just segue to the next question before it goes into Lee Greenwood and Gayness Tadness. Yes.
I will have to punch you. I will punch you.
So that was actually pretty sweet. I'm actually going to make that. That's going to be the backing loop for a rap song now. That's going to be sweet. So here's one of the biggest things that that I want to talk about with the campaign for Apotheosis is challenges. For this one, I'm trying to put a web series together, and I'm not a known entity in the space. And I've seen the effects that it has on trying to get the word out for the campaign, on trying to get people to sort of take that flyer and make that pledge. With the way that we've set it up, especially with something, I'll admit that it's ambitious, but I think it's completely doable. I haven't set myself up in a space or a responsibility where I have to do massive cosplay or VFX or impossible things. The biggest logistics are trying to do 2 casts in 2 different areas. But when it comes to, you guys are creators of entertainment. What are probably some of the strongest challenges to creating entertainment? Well, for you guys personally, what is it that's been? And sometimes it may not necessarily be the most difficult, but what are the most frustrating and the most sort of grinding challenges that really put you to the test when you're trying to do this stuff?
That's a good question. I'm like,
we could say things like, the budget, or how do we create this using our own money, or things like that.
Hold on, we've lost audio with you guys.
Oh.
I'm not exactly sure what's going on. I currently cannot hear you guys.
Huh.
We're registering on the little green thing.
Yeah. Well,
Oh, there we go. Okay, you guys are back. I don't know what that was, but for me anyway, your audio dropped out. Okay, well, we'll start that again. Go ahead.
I don't know where it cut out, but you know, aside from the usual things where it's, you know, how do we pull it together with the money that we're putting in ourselves is usually our case. You know, we've paid for all our own stuff. For me, a lot of it is getting to the point where I have enough, where I like the project enough to be able to put enough time in. I'm a horrible procrastinator, and that's my biggest problem. So even for stuff that I'm really liking, it's like I'll procrastinate on crap, and there's no reason for it. And so if I can't do that and create something that I'm proud of. So you know, you know, it's something I have to get over every time we do something.
It's true. It's true with that.
I
always tell Tanya, I'm like, I don't think Steve's into this thing that I proposed that we should do. I was like, well, I'm just gonna go and write it. Steve, I don't know. I don't want to speak for him. Seems to generally like the stuff I write. But if I can write it, we can get it started. Steve will get enthusiastic about it, and then he'll be on board.
Well, I thought that was for both of us, but maybe not because. You know,
no, it's definitely for both of us. But I can talk.
No, I mean like in
the off hours.
Yeah. Right, true, and I don't have that.
Rob has more time to beat his idea into me.
It happened with, you know, VZW, but see, VZW, I liked the idea right away. It was just the writing the scripts. We were all like, let's write some scripts and stuff. And you know, me, I'm like, I don't write a script. I don't even. So Rob wrote the first 3 episodes and said, let's do this. Let's start, and that kicked it off. You know.
Well, in this new project that I want to do, I've had a hard time selling both of them, but I think it's going to be a good project. So I have to write it, and that's my biggest problem is getting over the inertia. I've got so many other jobs going on that sitting down and writing it is hard because I'm only going to screw it up.
And it's less that I don't know if we don't. It's more the excitement for it. Like, it's a good idea. I think it would be really interesting. But again, there's a lot of things that are good ideas, but until you get the details down and start getting those things in the script that make you go, oh, this is not just a good idea. It deserves to be made.
Yeah, I can't wait to do that thing.
Right.
Yeah.
That's where, once you start writing a script, that's where you can start seeing that process, seeing what's in there.
I think for me, the biggest challenge right now is inertia. We produced so many things so quickly, and then unfortunately had to take a year off because of Robb losing his father, and so now this time has passed, and it's so easy to just keep not producing.
Even though it drives us crazy.
Even though it drives us crazy, we get together and we're like, oh, okay, let's go through our ideas. Let's come up with a new idea. We've got several new ideas. Let's do one of these new ideas. And we've had so many meetings where we have just sat around and talked about, you know, what do we want to do next?
And go through the list of 20 things that we've got in the works.
The same 20 things we've had in the works, or we have this new idea, or okay, let's scrap all of them. And what do we just as actors want to play? And so right now, the biggest challenge is just getting past that and just going, you know what, fuck it, we're picking this idea. It's going to be great. Let's just go and let's move.
I'd say the biggest challenge is getting past all the freelance work that I've got.
What a horrible, oh my God. All the freelance work.
Robb is making money this year. It's awful.
Man, it's a hard knock life for Robb. It's a hard knock life for Robb.
Yeah, the IRS will go, wait, this guy's been dead for like 8 years, right? Right? Hasn't he been dead? And now he's making money? There's something
out
on
to the
here.
public?
Yeah. Oh, shh.
Uh-oh.
This guy's dead.
Is this on?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Oh, sorry, there's just feedback everywhere.
Oops.
So yeah, I think inertia and just
because I know we can't wait to do something. It is literally all the ideas we have, and we've collected so many ideas, and some of them we just can't do with the money that we usually can put into these things.
Yeah.
They're just beyond us. We all suck at.
We can't fundraise to save our lives.
We're horrible with the stuff that producers are supposed to kind of be good at. What we really need is like executive.
We need executive producers and some line producers.
We're really bad at the one thing, and that's the fundraising. Other than that, we're great.
The fundraising, getting other people excited about it. You know, when we did Ladies and Gents last year, or last year and a half, or whatever, that was kind of interesting because we worked with 2 other producers. And so it was kind of interesting to see how that went, how that dynamic went, because we worked with Avi Glajansky, who's done Silver Lake Badminton Club,
Cupid and Eros.
Cupid and Eros. But you know, he will get on stuff that we always hesitate on because it's like, I don't want to go call people and try and find the thing that has to fit on the. I don't want to ask for favors, but he's, you know, he's all over
great
that
about
stuff.
He's a producer.
Yeah, he's a real producer. And Stephanie Thorpe was the other person we should drop.
Yes.
Just, the 3 of us hate making phone calls.
I hate the phone.
Rob will not make a phone call to save his life.
But I'm also in charge of all the post-production.
Steve doesn't like making phone calls, and I answer other people's phones as my day job. So I don't want to talk to people when I get home. So
so other than communication, you guys are good to go.
You want me to send an email? I am all over it.
Why do you think we don't fundraise? Why do you think we make everything with the 3 people in this room?
Yeah.
Because this is about as comfortable as we get.
Well, and it also started, to be fair, it started as like, well, if we take someone else's money, they are inevitably going to demand certain changes. We were very afraid of that sort of, we want to make what we want to make.
Yeah.
Give us money, but we're going to make what we want to make.
Yeah, but you give us money and then go the fuck away.
Yeah.
So that we can make our show.
Yeah.
And,
That's kind of the kind of people.
That's what we need. We need someone to just back up a truck of money and just go.
Not care where it goes.
Here you go.
Preferably bundles of 20s and non-sequentially numbered.
That's good. That's very good. All right. So, bank robbers, after you have successfully robbed a bank, there are 3 people that would like to speak with you after said successful bank robbery, and I'm going to show you their picture right now, right there.
The whole project is going to have giant ink explosions on it.
Where's
money.
Where's my money bag with the dollar sign on the side?
It's going to be our design for the show.
We will all have ink.
Yeah.
We'll do a blue man.
The executive producer on this was literally Snidely Whiplash. That is actually the guy's legal name. That's amazing. He tied some chick to a railroad and to a railroad track, and it worked. I don't know, man. He's a producer.
Yeah, amazing.
We need that.
So as we go into the final minutes of our show here, one of the last things I want to talk about when it comes to web television is, there's a lot of like historical context people try to use to try to describe it, and it was WebTV was the Wild West and all this kind of stuff, and I'm sort of getting the feeling now that it almost feels a little bit like the settlement of California after the gold rush. If you know what I mean. It's like, I remember not even 5 or 6 years ago, I saw a lot of web TV creators that were thumping their chests saying, oh, the networks are dead, the studios are dead, old media's going down, and we're at the forefront, and blah, 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 and I just fell asleep in that sentence. But I remember a lot of that, all the old guards going down, and here we go. And now, fast forward 5 years, and Disney bought Maker, and Lionsgate is working with Rocket Jump, and Legendary went for Geek and Sundry. We're seeing all these acquisitions and all that kind of stuff. So, does it feel like there's still opportunities here at this level to tell stories and to tell stories that are going to work? Or is web TV basically going to become the single A farm league where everyone's just trying to find a way to break into X company buying their production shingle? I don't know. What do you guys think about that?
I think there's room for both.
I think it's going to be both.
I think it's both because the studios aren't going away and they're getting smarter and they're pairing up with more people on the web. But
they're not pairing up with them. They tried it on their own.
Yeah.
And they couldn't figure it out. And they consistently don't. They keep starting divisions and then canceling them, and starting them and closing them. So they finally just bought some people who knew what they're doing.
Yeah.
But they're soon going to learn, wait a minute, this really popular channel doesn't make any money?
Yeah.
What's going on?
Oh?
They probably can't wrap their mind around that the business model of the internet, because there isn't one. There still isn't one.
Right.
But the thing is, it's always going to be a different game for creators like us who are scripted content exclusively versus vlogs and unscripted content and reality shows or whatever you want to call them. That's always going to be an entirely different game.
Scripted content definitely has the hardest time.
Yes.
But it's the same thing with indie film and indie web, indie television are pretty much, they're traveling now parallel journeys. Because with indie film, you have a better chance of getting your documentary, your indie documentary, distributed and seen. People will watch that. People won't necessarily watch a small budget, like scripted movie. Maybe they'll watch a horror movie or something gimmicky, but they won't watch like Sharknado. But that's
both Sharknadoes.
That's only low budget because they made it that way.
They choose for it.
They chose for it to be low budget. So it's that way with scripted. Like, you can get a lot of views online with vlog style stuff, or like reality stuff, or talking, commentary shows, or like stuff. Most of the Geek and Sundry stuff, that's all reality TV. I mean, they got rid of their scripted show, or they bring in some scripted shows that they kind of bring into their network, but they don't make them. I mean, they just kind of bring them in, and they're like, hey, you're part of us. And then those people go, great, give us money. And they go, well, we don't have any money, but thanks for contributing to our channel.
Yeah.
So scripted is still going to be the redheaded stepchild of the web, but we just make the best shows we can, and I guess make them because we want to make them. We don't make them to get rich or to...
I think there's much like doing theater in Los Angeles is truly just to get someone else to see your acting. Like, no one does theater for the love of theater in LA.
You got me on my freelance job. It'll get you work. It might not make you some television executive, with your own running show, but
you can
get
still
editing work or script work, or
it can still be
work.
the farm league, as you said, of onto bigger and better things, I think.
Or onto things that pay better.
Or onto things that pay better.
It's kind of inevitable that, I mean, inevitably, as people were saying the networks are dead and, this is the new frontier, it's like, again, the networks aren't stupid. They will get in on this. The whole net neutrality thing, the whole everything, not even just video content, but the internet itself. It was inevitable that it's going to just conglomerate into all the companies that already make all the money. And unless net neutrality really goes belly up, at least what we have now is a free distribution system where anyone can go watch anything at any time, which is not something independent films ever had. So our shows, as far as we're concerned, will always be out there for someone to see. Always. People can go find Life from the Inside 5 years from now and discover it and watch it. So I think
you can also find Life from the Inside links in the description box at the bottom of the archive version. Hashtag plug.
Although, I mean, to be unpopular, one could make an argument that the abolishment of net neutrality might be good for some independent web series creators, because having gatekeepers, if you can get in, you can schmooze a person as a gatekeeper. You can't get everybody to watch your show who doesn't know it exists. But you can find out who runs programming at Yahoo and become their friend and put your show on there. So it allows for a little more human interaction when there's gatekeepers. With everything free and open, it's just kind of, it's the luck of the draw, or you have to hope that people just kind of go onto it. And I want the free and open internet, don't get me wrong. I want it free and open. I'm just saying that Hollywood doesn't, because then they can place their content where they want it, and instead of having
and frankly, if it's free and open, I know they're fighting for it, but still, if it's free and open, but they still have their corner of it, you can still, if Disney finally has a successful web arm, you can still go find that person, I think, because they still have their corner of the web. So,
and I think that's why net neutrality will eventually go through, because HBO Go and Hulu, and well, now Hulu, forget Hulu, but all the other, Fox,
Netflix,
and Netflix, and all the, and if you notice, Netflix is making original content, HBO is making original streaming content. All this stuff is making original streaming content because they just need people to know where to go. even HBO was struggling to get people to come to their web stuff. Even Hulu at the beginning struggled. The only reason they made a name for themselves is because they had everything. They got everything.
Well, and they had
YouTube-
major studio backing, so they had major studio shows on there.
Right,
So,
but they needed a ton of them to even get
Yeah.
people to go there because people
Yeah.
didn't get it. But now as people get it, I think the Hollywood will stop feeling like they can control it, and they just have to make the best network. And the network is just going to be channels. It's just going to be on the internet instead of on TV. Same stuff.
Yeah, I always find it interesting how cable companies fought the idea of a la carte for so long, and we're basically reaching a la carte through the internet.
Exactly.
Yep.
Well, and HBO Go, I think, is going to lead the way, because I think they're going to be the first ones to really.
Well, they led the way in.
Yeah, especially after Netflix with House of Cards. Yeah, HBO, I think they've been itching to try to have just a way for everyone to subscribe to them alone without having to go through cable. So I think they see Netflix as their sort of cue to go, all right, guys, let's get HBO Go as an independent subscriction service. Let's get this done.
I think
And
HBO's smart enough to get paid for it too. I think
Yeah.
Netflix is losing money.
Of course, at least in the case of House of Cards, even they weren't sure whether it was going to hit the way it did. So I think they were willing to lose money in exchange for lightning being caught in a bottle.
No, totally.
Yeah.
They were planning to lose money. I'm telling you, HBO's planning to lose money. Netflix, they're all going to lose money, so that eventually they'll drive away the competition. And it's a horrible thing, but that's capitalism.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
As the cable side of cable dies, and they'll fight for it tooth and nail to the end, like, religious zealots, they'll, as that goes away, they're very smart offering the internet, being the ones offering the best kind of internet you can get right now, aside from Google Fiber, but, whole other issue. Once they acquiesce and go, okay, cable's dying, but everyone's getting their stuff through us now.
We get it through the cable. We get ours through the cable anyway.
Yeah.
We don't have cable TV.
Yeah, I haven't had cable or satellite in years. So,
Yeah, I always thought it was very telling how Comcast went and purchased NBC. Like, it's almost like they saw, like, let's buy an entertainment-creating entity to sort of have, because, maybe it's because they also see the writing on the wall, so let's create a content creator, something that'll create something for us.
Well, if you notice, all the networks are creating arm, distributing arm, so every studio is now getting a distribution arm attached to it, whether that's internet or satellite or DVD. DVD's gone, but video on demand, all that stuff. All the networks are scrambling. That's why you see all these mergers. They're all buying up.
And it's horrifying.
It is. Well, we passed laws to stop that in the early film days.
Yeah.
We stopped it. And now we're just like, go ahead. What could go wrong?
Yep.
Well, maybe the thing that went wrong the first fucking time you tried it.
Yeah, I know. Studios can't own their own theaters because, look what's happening with that. And now it's like, well, now
we just don't care.
No, we don't care
Monopoly
anymore.
sucks. Great game.
What?
Yeah, I remember Saturday Night Live used to do the TV Funhouse, the Robert Smigel cartoons. And there was one that they did that was it was supposed to be like Schoolhouse Rock, but instead it was corporate rock. And they had a guy that sung, I think the actual guy that sang some of them, singing this song about corporate conglomeration of media. And it was so funny because you saw it in the live episode, but in any repeats or any internet version of the episode, that Robert Smigel TV Funhouse is missing from the official Saturday Night Live broadcast of that night. And when they went to Lorne Michaels, Mr. Canadian anti-corporate, I'm the badass, look at me starting SNL, he's like, oh, I cut it because it wasn't funny. And immediately everyone's like, Lorne, you're not about ha-ha belly laughs, you're about satire. We know why you cut it, buddy. We know. Because it made fun of GE that owned NBC at the time and all that kind of stuff, so it's definitely crazy.
You can forget that stereotype of Canadians being anti-corporation, because it's not the case anymore.
Hell no, Tim Hortons, you kidding me? That's the ultimate overlord of Canada.
Not just Tim Hortons, but the whole climate up there is changing.
Wait, but Burger King just...
I know that. I was just being facetious. But seriously, Tim Hortons is a menace.
No, I agree.
There's Tim Hortons in the United States now.
Are they like Chick-fil-A? Are they jerks?
No, they're just big.
Oh, okay. They're
just a conglomerate.
The food's okay.
Their food's okay.
I don't think I've ever
There
been
was
to
a Tim Hortons in West Virginia.
Do they have tater tots, or is that one of the tater tots?
That was my
places?
first time going to a Tim Hortons.
Yeah, I'm in Michigan, so they're like the closer you get to Canada, the more you see them along the border by the river where we're at. So coming into our last question here for the evening for you guys, this is a chance for you to let your friends, your family, your circle, your fans know why do you think they should consider supporting Apotheosis, from your point of view. Why do you think they should give this show a look, maybe give this show a flyer, maybe pledge a couple bucks?
Or I think for any reason we would want them to support anything we do. It's hard because friends and family, it's even hard to get everyone to watch your stuff when they aren't paying anything. So it's like if you've liked what we've done all these years and you want to keep supporting stuff like what we do, then give a couple bucks. I mean, we've never asked for money. We've never had a tip jar. We've never done any of that as much as we've wanted to. And so, hey guys, maybe make up for a little now. Give a few bucks to,
Support indie television.
Yeah.
It's like supporting PBS. Support
That's
indie
true.
television.
We're supported by viewers like you.
We're supported by viewers like you.
We don't got tote bags.
And if you're watching and you
But
don't
we have
pay,
miniature pyramids like the one you see here.
if you're watching,
For only a $175 donation, I'll make you a lower third for a Google Hangout with a pyramid on it.
That's right. And if you're watching without paying, then you're a thief.
A dirty, dirty
thief.
thief.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's a Simpsons reference. Haha.
That was Betty White. on
That
The
was Betty White on The Simpsons, and it's
That's why you should
amazing.
give money, because we can pull Simpsons references out of our rear ends at any moment.
It's Rob and I will sit here and entertain you with Simpsons references.
they-
And Steve will sit in the corner
It's
rolling
just
his
like
eyes.
you come in here and it doesn't smell like farts. It smells like Simpsons references because it's all from their
They're in
butts
the air.
all day long. Look what I pulled from my butt. Oh, the popsicle episode.
The popsicle episode.
Is there not one of those?
There's an episode with popsicles in it.
The popsicle episode.
But yeah, support your indie television. This is a
Yeah,
really fun project, and it would be really
And there are some
amazing.
cool people in it.
To be a part of it.
And some cool people I've always wanted to act with.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm so excited about it.
Yuri.
Yeah,
we
you tried to get
Yuri,
Yuri and
we tried to
Maxwell.
get Yuri in Ladies and Gents, and we were very sad that we
almost got
couldn't.
to work with Maxwell in something, but that didn't happen.
But David
just
Nett.
great people.
David Nett.
David Nett. Oh my God, Four Eyes.
Oh, David Nett.
Lordy.
I don't
Ever
know.
since he
We'll
got all
deal
buff
with
and
him.
everything, he's like,
Look
geek
how
fit.
both I am.
Geek Fit, I'm
Geek
so
Fit. Visit
muscly.
geekfit.com to get fit to geek stuff. Geekfit.com. I am simultaneously making fun of it and hopefully plugging the right URL.
You are not, because it's nerd.
Damn it.
Yeah, not at all. You completely you remember when Tanya said you give the compliment and then you give the criticism? You completely botched it, Steve. You completely botched it, buddy.
Nerdfit.com.
Oh,
wow.
no, but there's a lot
Awful.
of really amazing people in this.
Yeah, and I
I'd
wouldn't
say.
mind my picture showing up next to theirs on IMDb.
Oh my God, that means we'd have to put pictures
I
on
have to put my picture
IMDb.
up on IMDb.
Yeah, I think mine got deleted because didn't the price like triple or
It's
something?
really
I don't know.
ridiculous.
Crazy thing?
We can talk about the
Oh.
how expensive and ridiculously expensive IMDb is later on a different show.
We could. Well, let's do a show about that.
Let's do a show.
Hey, guys, I'm just saying, remember, I've got 8 hours, so we can do this all night. Alrighty, guys. Well, thank you very much. That actually will bring us to the end of this particular episode of Talking the Tightrope. Once again, I want to thank my wonderful guests, Mr. Stephen Lekowicz, Mr. Robb Padgett, and Ms. Tanya Ihnen. Once again, they play our three spies, the Sanzaru, the three wise monkeys, and they actually, a lot of their interaction is actually with Maxwell Glick as they sort of hunt him down to try to figure out, what he knows and what these projects are all about. So there's going to be some really, Ricky Collins meets a room with a vampire, zombie, werewolf, and a producer, and a web series producer.
Yeah, because he was a scientist in Lonely Girl, right?
I believe so, yes.
So like it'll be like we were on Lonely Girl.
Exactly, yeah, it'll be like full circle here. We're going to cross over all of our shows. It's going to be weird.
Yeah. So
What?
Vampires
Yeah.
on the World on Lonely Girl.
let
I'm a scientist in.
Sorry, we'll let
I'm
him.
not a scientist.
let Steve and I
In
be
the
in a
show.
show where we don't have to have prosthetic face stuff on the whole time.
Well, then I guess that bucket list will be struck off because there's no prosthetic stuff on your face this time. You guys will be safe.
Yet.
So again, thank you to KATR
monkeys.
Pictures. What's that, Tanya?
I said not unless we're monkeys.
No, yeah, again, well, no, Steve already ruined that when he got surgery to get rid of his tail. Nice job, Steve.
You're welcome. I still have my opposable thumbs.
Well, that's great. Well, everyone has that. You had the one thing that would have gotten us over the top, and you got it cut
I had
off.
my foot on, though. That's what I'm saying. I had the tail, but I didn't have thumbs.
It was a very complicated
I was
surgery.
kind of like a flipper baby.
I'm just hearing how Steve's disappointed me. That's all I'm hearing right now. I can't hear blah blah blah, disappoint you, blah blah blah.
Thalidomide shake.
Expecting people to watch
I
this,
dream of
Yes,
thalidomide shake.
we should let James go now.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
So thank you very much, guys. This was KATR Pictures. Again, we'll put links down there to show you the different series. Life from the Inside, Vampire, Zombie Werewolf, The Ladies and the Gents. They have some of their short films like Turning a Profit. Turning or Making a Profit?
Turning.
Turning a Profit. I had it right the first time. Yes! I read my notes right. So, they have a whole bunch of stuff. Check it out. They are another wonderful part of Apotheosis. They've been with this project from very early on, and I'm really excited about this window. In the course of this show, we actually had another donation to the project, which was very nice of you, so thank you very much, from Mr. Jacob Fraley. So every little bit helps right now. We have a little over 8 days. $1, $3, $5. It's not about how much you can pledge. We're just looking for pledges. We're trying to get as many points on the board as we can get. As we close it out, this is what's going to help us try to figure out what alternate paths lie ahead of us in order to bring you the prologue of Apotheosis. So, for my friends from KATR Pictures, I am James Fernandez. I am the man to blame here at Tightrope. If I made you sad with a bad joke, I'm the man to blame. Thank you guys so very much for joining me tonight.
Thank you.
And we will see you guys soon. Thursday night's guest on Talking the Tightrope will be the aforementioned Mr. David Nett. We'll be talking with him about Gold and Night of the Zombie King, about creating entertainment and web TV from his experiences, and we'll talk about his place in Apotheosis. Have yourselves a good night, and I'll talk to you soon.
And his muscles.
And his muscles.
Yes, and his muscles. More class. Just more class. Have a good night, folks.
Bye.